Alright, so I'm back at it with another video. Welcome to Rancid. This is actually going to be on Sweaty Calves, my channel. By the way, hi, I'm Sweaty Calves. This is actually going to be a review of Shang Chi. It's going to be short. It's going to be relatively uninvolved. I wasn't taking notes in the theater when I was watching this last night, so I'm going to have to go off of memory. If you want my recommendations up front, I would say don't watch this movie. If you want to see a movie that has brainless action, fine, go ahead and do it. I would recommend a Fast and Furious movie over this, though, to be honest, if I'm being totally honest. I think that Fast and the Furious makes more sense than this movie, which is a sad thing to say, you know, especially with what happened with Fast and Furious 9. But I'm going to get the characters out of the way first, okay? Actually, you know what? Let's do plot summary. Plot summary first. This guy has magic rings, develops a family. There's a kid born. Kid happens to be some chosen one type figure. He's got like this warring duality in him or something like that, and basically he's trying to stop his father from getting amulets on his neck and his sister's neck, so that he doesn't go back to a magical realm called Ta Lo to enact an evil plan. A plan that isn't actually evil, it's actually more, kind of like your classic romance story type deal, but just way less well developed and horribly written. So yeah, that's pretty much the plot of the movie. Shang Chi becomes this person who controls the 10 rings. He gets the ability to use their power, and he helps his sister and a magical dragon fight off a soul-sucking demon in an alternate dimension thing. This movie pretty much goes everywhere and nowhere at once. It's quite sad, if I'm being totally honest. As for the characters, let's get Shang-Chi out of the way first. He's dull. Pointless. I verge on the harsh term of worthless. You could have the entire movie without Shang-Chi, it wouldn't really make a difference. You could insert any other character, it wouldn't make a difference. Heck, you could even have Bruce Wayne in training in a Batman series of films, and this would make just about as much sense. So, in the sense of Shang-Chi's character, I'm not going to say Shang, okay, it's Shang. In the sense of Shang-Chi's character, it's very dull, very boring, there's nothing interesting about him. You know, he should be this master of martial arts, the best fighter in the world, and instead he's kind of this person who gets dragged along from from mission to mission by his sister or his best friend. Oh, by the way, his best friend is a slacker who doesn't do anything with her life until she goes on this adventure with him, and in one day becomes a master archer. Yeah, in the course of an afternoon, this woman goes from being completely skillless and completely worthless in a fight to being able to one-shot a soul-sucking demon. Just let that sit for a moment. I'm trying to hold back my rage, despite the fact that this series is called Rancid. R-A-N-T-S space I-T, in case you didn't know. His sister is your classic Mary Sue type character who just is better at everything than any guy. There's even a line in the movie where she's talking to Katie, I think is the name of the best friend. She's a forgettable character too. And she's like, I watched all the boys do martial arts, and then I taught myself how to do them, but better. Oh, and she also started an underground fighting ring at the age of 16. Yeah, totally believable characters. We don't get much about the mom. She's pretty much just a plot contrivance. She's pretty much just a way of driving the story forward. which I think is really sad because she has a direct relationship to the best character in the movie, and the best character in the movie is Shang Chi's father. I don't remember his name. I wish I did, because he's a good character. So his story is, he starts off as a conqueror. He finds the 10 rings, becomes godlike, becomes this really powerful person who's just out of this world crazy powerful. Creates an empire where he's pretty much on top of the world, and goes from nation to nation conquering until eventually he comes to Ta Lo, where he meets his wife. Now, of course, the wife has that Hollywood woke leftist woman can't lose in a fight plot armor on, so she easily beats him in the fight that they have with each other. And so he falls in love. So we have a conqueror who falls in love with a woman he just met, and in falling in love with her, he gives up being a conqueror. Starts a family with her, has children, tries his best to not be a conqueror anymore. Tries to do the right thing, be a good guy, grow old and die with a woman he loves and a family that came along with her. And she dies. And so he goes into this rage, he gets back into being the immortal conqueror, and essentially he gets tricked by this soul-sucking demon that's the main antagonist at the end of the film, where he hears the voice of his wife and does everything he can to rescue her. He travels from one dimension to another, conquers an army that has massive power, and breaks down a barrier that's held up against a powerful demon god being, like, for thousands of years, so that he can save his wife. Now, she wasn't actually there. He was being tricked by the demon soul-sucker thingamabob. It looked like a weird tentacle flying bat monster. I don't know. It was an amalgamation of CG bits. But yeah, no, and in his last moment, he saves his son, despite the fact that they just had this massive fight. He saves his son, sacrifices himself, and gives his son the 10 rings. And then we get the classic Marvel third act sludge fest of, CGI bits flying everywhere. That's pretty much what every Marvel movie has devolved to nowadays. But I really think that father character was the best character in the story, like, by far. And again, the plot starts off with Shang Chi acting like he's this nobody in San Francisco, getting hunted down, going on this journey to Japan or China. I don't remember where they went. Then he fights his sister, and his sister obviously wins again. But I can excuse that fight because he doesn't want to hurt his sister. I can understand that. And then he gets caught by his father, and then he goes to some secret base. And here's one thing that's really stupid. While they're in this secret base, they find a secret tunnel that leads out of the dungeon that they're in. So there's a dungeon in this secret base that has a tunnel that leads out to a garage so they can escape. They also meet Fake Mandarin from Iron Man 3. He has a pig chicken now that doesn't have a face. And he has magical powers now. So there's that. It doesn't make any sense. If you guys could only see my leg twitching right now, it is working double time. I'm just getting so frustrated talking about this. The sister, who has no powers, kicks a hole in a stone wall. A fully stone wall. In this tunnel system. Finds her brother and his best friend and Fake Mandarin and Chicken Pig with no face. Morris, I think is his name. And she leads them out because apparently when she was like 16, she found a way out of this secret agency base of operations that this guy who's worked for thousands of years has concocted, yet he hasn't learned how to keep a prisoner who's 16 years old with minimal experience in how to escape and how to be covert. Right. So they then drive a car, SUV, into another dimension through a waterfall after a bamboo forest tries to eat them. So no one else track with me how ridiculous that is. Anyways, continuing on. It just gets crazier from there, okay? There's the third act is basically they're in a magical place with dragon scale armor and weapons that are the only thing capable of killing demons, and these soul-sucking demons are trying to raise their master. I forgot the name of the demon master, but they gave the demon thing a he pronoun, a masculine pronoun, and of course they gave the great one, the protector of all life itself, a female pronoun. Oh wow. That's not subversive at all. That's not subtle messaging at all. That's not on the nose at all. So basically, in that moment, they're saying, good equals woman, bad equals man. Stupid. The acting was terrible, the CGI was terrible, the choreography was terrible. If you try to use any of the fight moves that they have in this movie, you will die, okay? Don't think that this is good combat. Don't think this is good fighting. And I would recommend something like Muay Thai or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You know, take some boxing so that you can learn how to punch right. Don't try and do the whole open hand, sway, Tai Chi, Kung Fu, oh, I will double punch and I will win. No, it's not going to happen. Now that I've pretty much done a rough overview of the movie, I've tried to be as fast as I can because I don't want to make a video too long. Let's look at the box office stuff and the Rotten Tomatoes stuff. So over here we got the critic score, 92%. It's certified fresh. That means that it's really good. And then the audience score, which is really kind of sad. I'm kind of disappointed in the audience score. 98%. Now I think that some of this is confirmation bias. I think that some of this is it's essentially, I don't know if it's not called buyer's remorse. It's some other psychological term. It's basically, well, Marvel has done lots of stuff that we like, therefore this movie must be good as well. And I'm not going to hear any of the arguments against it or pay attention to any of the massive flaws that are involved in this movie. So there's already a problem there. But 98%, I think that as people go on, that'll probably go lower. And who knows, Rotten Tomatoes may be doing that stupid thing where they actually hide reviews that are negative for the movie so that they can make it seem like it's better than it is. Kind of like what they did with Captain Marvel. You know, that crappy interpretation of a character who was once good in the comics. It's also got a very low box office. I'm going to go over to here. Yeah, so internationally it has grossed 23.4 million. So that means that it's gonna be about $53 million in a combined haul. And I love the labeling here. Box office to smash Labor Day record with $75 to $85 million. I'm not sure if there is a record as to how much people have made over Labor Day weekend, but I'm not going to say that $75 to $85 million is record-breaking stuff for a $200 million Marvel film. They are losing money on this movie, just like they lost money on Black Widow. Let's see. $29.6 million on Friday from 4,300 theaters. Now people are going to come up with all kinds of different reasons to say that this movie isn't doing well, like, oh, well, we're still locked down, or there's still a pandemic going on, and blah, 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 blah. Chui Wei? Chui Wei? Is that the guy's name in the movie? I don't think so. Tony Leung. That's the father character, though. That guy right there, where my mouse is. That guy's good. By the way, this kid was supposedly born sometime after 1996, which means that at the oldest, he could be like 25 in this movie. Oh, wait, no. There's a 5-year jump, so he's like at the oldest 30, I guess, because this movie's supposed to take place sometime after 2023, I think. I don't know. They didn't actually give a timeline in this movie. The only time that you actually had time in the movie was 1996, and that was when the father met the mother, and after that, they just pretty much were like, screw it. Let's look at Shang Chi box office tracking now. Box Office Pro. So weekend box office update, Shang Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings shatters expectations with $29.6 million opening day. I don't know about you, but last time I checked, a $29.6 million opening day was abysmal numbers for something like Marvel and Disney when they are making $100 million movies, and especially when you take into consideration the fact that Spider-Man Far From Home by no means is a good. It's not a good movie, by the way. But Spider-Man Far From Home grossed over $1 billion, I think. Maybe it grossed quite a bit, and I guess you could say it's riding off the heels of Endgame and all that, but this is abysmal for a Marvel movie. Yeah, Disney reports this morning that Shang Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings scored $29.6 million on opening day Friday, virtually setting a new industry Labor Day record. Right, $30 million is apparently a record now. Yeah, no, it's just, look, it's essentially Disney trying to cover their butts. They're coming up with excuses. They're coming up with the classic, oh, well, it's racism type deal, or racism, whatever you want to call it. You know, they're coming up with all these excuses to try and make sure that this movie seems better than it is. And I think the truth of it, if they're going to be honest with themselves, is just, it's a terrible movie. It was written terribly. The characters are terrible. The plot is terrible. Everything in this movie is bad, except for the character they tried to demonize, the father figure. And it's this woke garbage that keeps getting in the way of good storytelling, and it's harming companies like Disney and Marvel. If they wanted to make money back, all they have to do is write a good story. But their political messaging isn't going to let them do that. And that's a problem. Especially for them. Not for us. As fans, I say let it die. I say let it die. Let it burn. Let this organization, let this company just fall apart and die. Not the people, the company. Disney has crossed so many lines. I mean, when they were filming in China with the Uyghur Muslim slave camps, right in the background, the prisoner camps, right in the background. Really? And then they thank China for allowing them to film there? You gotta be kidding me. There are people who are being trampled on, truly oppressed by an oppressive communist government, the CCP, the Chinese Communist political party. And you're praising them for allowing you to shoot an area where they were committing heinous human rights violations. Don't tell me that you think that this is some good thing. Don't try and virtue signal with this stupid movie now. They've crossed so many lines. That was the line that really was just terrible. And then they canceled Gina Carano, a person who's done nothing wrong to them. I'm sure she's not a perfect person. No one is, obviously. But they say she's making anti-Semitic comments when she's talking about how terrible the Nazis were to the Jews. That's not right. That's total bull. I went off on a rant there, hence the name Rancid. You know, I'm sure I'm going to get a little bit more animated as time goes on. But this video is already 20 minutes long, and I don't have an editing software, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it here. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you would be willing to share this, it'd be great too. I'm going to be posting it on my other social media pages. I'm sure I can link that in the towel box below. But as for now, this is, I don't remember what episode of Rancid, and this is also Sweaty Calves signing off. Hope you guys have a good Labor Day weekend, and see you soon.